Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. It is Zach again with 1918 British Air Force using the Derpcake headphones. This is RPG Part 3. Well, actually, it's Part 2, but I had to put 2 videos up last time because it was running into 15 minutes or something like that. So I had to do 2 parts. Yes. Anyways, I wanted to tell you what happened yesterday. So it was another about 5-hour gaming session. We went from like 4 to 5. No. What am I talking about? We went from 5 to 9. Jeez, I'm derpy. And it was interesting. So we got 2 more players. We have a spell slinger, which is a gun-wielding wizard that can basically shoot touch spells, which is friggin' nuts if you think about it, because touch spells do ridiculous amounts of damage. I wrote down everybody's name, but I'm really lazy and I don't want to go get it. So we'll skip that till later. And I do believe he is a half-elf. Yes, he is a half-elf. And that's Dylan. He's a really cool guy. Then we had a rogue. Just straight rogue. Oh, God. And his name's Harrison. And he's a really cool guy. And he's a full elf, I believe. Okay, so when we last left off, we were adventuring in, they found a rhino in somebody's well. It was the old lady quest, blah, blah, blah. She has rats in her cellar, and there just happened to be a rhino down there also. Well, our other elf was the chick that plays our other elf, who is the summoner. Wasn't there for the first bit of it, but she also leveled to level 2 after they got done with it. But we just said she was talking to the old lady and gained a bunch of experience from the deep, meaningful conversation she had. So the other 3 characters, the tiny gnome that is an oracle that speaks in tongues whenever she's stressed out, and she's also deaf. Or he, sorry, excuse me. I'm sorry, whenever I think gnomes, I think women. Then we have the boulder, aka Geo, who was just continuously wrecking shit. And then we have the samurai also. So they are guiding this rhino through this dark cavern. And they get to the giant spider area, and they fight 3 giant spiders and pretty much ruin them pretty quickly. And then they fight 2 giant spider swarms. And in the middle of the room they find a wand. It wasn't a wand. It's not a wand. It is a flute. They found a flute that is able to summon rats. Every so odd rats. Yes. They can summon up to 1d4 rats. And then it takes them a certain amount of time to get there, and they're around them for 24 hours. So they got that for the summoner, and our summoner came right about the time they finished with that, which was cool. And then they met the other 2 characters in the tavern. As soon as they got done with that, they got rewarded. And the samurai, since he can spec into riding something and shooting it with his bow and arrow, he will be riding the rhino. They successfully tamed it and whatnot, so he will be riding that. And they are going to make armor for the rhino, I do believe, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. Just giant tank rhino that I get to ride on the back of. So they met the other 2 characters, and the way I did it was the other 2 characters were investigating one of the Magisters of Grid disappeared, getting ready for the Haven Vale Festival. So when the other 5 characters came to just hang out in the tavern and split up the goods, these 2 were already looking for them, and I already remember last time where Geo kind of like beat the shit out of a bunch of people, so I had the keeper was like, well, they are doing a lot of weird shit, so maybe they have something to do with it. So I had them talk to each other a little bit, and then the tavern keeper was like, ah, yes, he also brought in a giant tapestry into his room. The other 2 characters, the spell slinger and the rogue, go upstairs and investigate a little bit, and they find the tapestry. It's hanging on the wall, and since they had a large spellcraft check, they saw that it was actually a portal. So they're like, well, I don't want to do this by myself. So they take the other 5 characters are like, hey, you want to work with us? They're like, yeah, sure. I know that wasn't very smooth of me to design on a design point, but it was the best I had. So they jump through this portal all together, and then they fight some race. That was an interesting fight because the race, what I had them do was after they had this ability where they could just split into another one. It's an exact copy, and but they wrecked the race pretty easily. So that was pretty gay, pretty terrible. Geo's character's overpowered. His polearm, he's just like 3 feet away, stabbing people and critting on their faces really hard. Speaking of crits, our samurai, the person who plays our samurai, got like 10 crits that last night, and they like confirmed crits. It was stupid. It was dumb, but that happened there. So they continue on, and they see it's a very misty, dark place, and there's spiny shit going on everywhere, and like, mysticalish looking. Once they kill the race, the fog clears, and there's a giant tower. They go to the tower. Thus the trolling begins after this point. The rogue looks at me and he says, I want to climb the tower, just the outside of the tower, and he rolls terribly. I was like, okay, so it cuts your hand, and you bitch about it, and you fall. And then everybody else wanted to try to climb the tower. The only one that did any good was Geo, because he actually has like a skill point in climb. And he's like, I climb up 5 feet and then I get down because this is stupid. So finally they enter the tower, and inside the tower is a hellhound. And everybody tries. Geo has dark vision, so he saw the hellhound. Everybody was like, oh, we hear something, perception check, let's try stealthing. Geo, literally, the boulder just literally walks up to it and starts fighting it, and it was pretty ridiculous. And then combat started. It was interesting. I tried doing a CMB. I failed hard. I was rolling like shit that day. I was so bad. Oh my gosh. All my players my players were very happy about how poorly I was rolling. And when I did roll well, I just got misfortuned, and that sucks. Stupid Oracle. Next, they went upstairs and they went into a library, and they didn't roll a perception check or a search check, and so they didn't find anything. So they left, and then they went upstairs, and this is what happened. They go upstairs, they see the mage that they're looking for, and the rogue goes up. He's like, I'm going to pickpocket the mage. He pickpockets the mage, and he actually hides first, then he pickpockets the mage, and he finds a watch. And of course, everybody's like, do a spellcraft check! I didn't expect them to do that. So you know what? I said the watch makes pizza every 15 minutes. There's a pizza button that you hit, and it makes a pizza. Oh, did I not realize how much I just kind of screwed myself over with that? Oh, God. So they find the mage. There's a throne in the middle of the room, and Geo and the samurai are fighting over who's going to be sitting on the throne, and then everybody else is fighting over this watch. At one point, Geo stops fighting over the throne, and he climbs. He's like, I want to do a climb check on the mage, and he rolls like a 22. The score I was looking for was like 6, because it's like 6 feet off the ground. So he's like, I basically fly onto the mage and perch upon him, and he doesn't wake up. I was like, alright, I'm fine with that. And after a couple more rounds of them arguing and stuff, a demon opens the door to a study, because they once again didn't roll a perception check to notice the effing door right there. So he opens the door, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? And then after a couple rounds of me trying to let them like talk their way out of it, combat starts. The rogue sneaks into the room, not helping with combat after a while. He finds 1,200 gold. What else? He found a cap, a a ring, and something else I can't remember. They fought the demon. It took them a while to beat him. I didn't get to do any damage again as usual, though I almost... You know what I need to do? You know what I need to do? I just need to make really big tanky things that they can't kill immediately and that I don't do a lot of damage, but when I get... It's so I can last longer, you know? That's what I need to do. What do you think ahead? Anyways, so they defeat that. They spellcraft check on the hat, and once again, I wasn't expecting them to do anything on the hat. It was just a hat. So I said it was a hat of dancing, and it gives you a +6 to a dancing performance check. So Geos took that hat. Then the ring was a ring of invisibility. The rogue kept that. The demon dropped 2 cursed swords. What I mainly did the swords for were for the one sort of neutral character that we have in there. Actually, everybody's chaotic evil now. Almost everybody's chaotic evil, except for the neutral summoner and the lawful good, no, chaotic good spellslinger. So the 2 swords are cursed, and every time she tries to make a neutral decision, she actually picked up the swords. She has voices in her head that try to sway her to do the chaotic evil thing. So that's cool. I have the evilest group of people. There's also much trolling. They woke up the mage. They took him back. They were rewarded gold. Geo's intimidate checks are ridiculous. After that, they bought a couple buildings. The buildings I have in my game are 1 platinum. The rogue with the watch that creates pizza, opened up a pizzeria, and he had one of his employees backwards engineer how to make pizzas. Geo opened up a whorehouse, which I'm okay with because I think that's funny, and Dylan and Philip opened up a tea house, which was cool. And they're going to be making some gold, so we want to do kind of a quick campaign. We wanted to make sure everybody's leveled up and we could do some cool stuff after with that. So if this game seems like it's going a little bit fast, it's because it is. Anyways, that's pretty much all that happened. Just some ridiculous stuff, and it all made me very, very happy. Anyways, this has been Zach with 1918 British Air Force. Please remember to rate, comment, subscribe, dance. I don't really give a fuck as long as you guys enjoy the video. This is the part where I say goodbye, so goodbye, everybody.